Another bombshell by the New Yorker that suggests a potential pattern of payoffs to bury unflattering stories about Donald Trump in order to protect him during the 2016 campaign. Once again, it involves the National Enquirer allegedly paying someone off, in this case 30 grand, to catch and kill a salacious story from a former Trump Tower doorman. The New Yorker's Ronan Farrow is once again on the case and joins us. Always good to see you. Thank you for being here. So, what does the reporting suggest?
So the reporting suggests that there was this salacious rumor of an affair, potentially a child born out of the affair, largely baseless. We didn't uncover any evidence that this was real. However, what we did uncover very firmly was source after source within AMI saying they paid this money.
AMI, the parent company of the
National Enquirer. They then added a liquidated damages clause to this deal with this individual who had the information from supposedly within the company, saying he would have to pay $1 million if he ever breathed a word of this. And then they killed the story. And, we heard over and over again that was a direct order coming down from David Pecker, the head of this company, who has publicly professed an allegiance to Trump. And this is significant, every legal expert told us, because it establishes a pattern now. This is potentially the third illicit payment during the election cycle. Stormy Daniels, which was a direct deal with that woman to silence a story that she had, and then Karen McDougal's story, which she first talked to us as well, and another example of, through this same company that owns the National Enquirer, a story being caught and killed.
Sources suggest to you that this is somehow part of the matrix of interest in this current warrant that we saw executed on the president's attorney?
So we know, the New York Times and other publications have reported, that one of the points of interest of the FBI raids this week was indeed communications related to these kinds of shut down stories and the relationship between AMI and the president. And certainly, what the sources told us over and over again, and the documents we had suggested, was that this was part of a pattern of that close allegiance between the president and this organization.
Any Trump lawyer fingerprints on what you're looking at now?
We do report that Michael Cohen, according to multiple individuals involved in this story, was making regular calls. Now, we should say, we reached out to Michael Cohen. He hung up on us a couple of times, and, we do not get a response from him. He did talk to some other reporters circling the story and, confirmed that there was some communication about this.
The pocket becomes relevant, right? It gets tricky when it's AMI. Catch and kill, by the way, is they go out, they buy the story, and then they squash it. Then you have to determine why they did that. That's harder than just showing what the president's lawyer may have done, right? Because you have an obvious affinity there. So with David Pecker, the head of AMI, you would have to show that not only did he do this to kill it, but he did it to kill it to help the president during the campaign, and that would really be an in-kind contribution.
Right. So from an election law standpoint, these are all very difficult things to establish. Even if this was all to benefit the president, hypothetically speaking, but Michael Cohen was doing it to benefit the president's personal life, that would be a potential out from any election law violations. There are also exemptions to these election law standards for media companies doing legitimate journalistic work. But the legal experts we talked to pointed out, if it can be established that this was a pattern in which AMI and the National Enquirer were not acting journalistically, they were purely intending to kill these stories on behalf of the president, those exemptions might not apply.
Not easy. Side question. You are becoming a known commodity in this business. You have a book on foreign policy coming out later this month. Where does your interest lie in this line of stories? Because this narrative gets beat up, right? People will say who voted for the president, I didn't vote for a priest, Ronan Farrow, and this is all in the past. And what he does in his own personal life, that's stuff that doesn't matter to me. I care about my taxes. Where's your interest journalistically?
So I think one thing that I've very clearly established in this body of reporting is it's very nonpartisan. Harvey Weinstein, I broke that story, and along with a group of other brave reporters who spent a long time banging their heads against the wall, that was a major Democratic force to be reckoned with. He was a big donor, a big Hillary Clinton supporter. And actually what we see in what's being exposed about this pattern of payments, allegedly on behalf of the president, is the same actors involved. Dylan Howard, the National Enquirer. These were all individuals also working to suppress stories on behalf of Harvey Weinstein. We also report in this story that Lanny Davis, a Democratic operative and a close Clinton confidant, and Boyce Schiller, a firm run by a prominent Democratic lawyer, were involved in AMI's and the National Enquirer's efforts to shut down this story that we're reporting on today. So what this is about is systems, Chris. This is about the most powerful people in the country having the ability to silence and change the news narrative at will. And I think that the public should know that. And look, I'll defer to the election law experts. They say that this is worth scrutinizing.
Well, we look forward to seeing where it takes you. Ronan Farrow, thank you very much.
And
as we were talking about before, when the book comes out on foreign policy and your theories about how the military is shaping too much of policy,
War on Peace, it's out April 24th. You can pre-order it right now.